What's up, everybody? Welcome to Discourse and Chill. I'm Ian.
And I'm your girl Reese. Today's topic is dating in 2021. We will discuss our expectations, if they are truly realistic, and the challenges we face. Hopefully, by the end of this conversation, we both will feel more prepared, open, and ready to date. People say that the best place to start when it comes to dating is within yourself and doing a self evaluation to make sure that you are actually ready. So, do you do this, Ian? Like, do you take a self evaluation prior to dating?
Absolutely. I think it's imperative. I think it's super important to know where you are and what you're able to give in a dating situation. Like dating is challenging and frustrating and uh, complex and simple and all kinds of things. So I think it's important to know what you bring to the table, what you can't bring to the table. Whether or not you need to be casually dating, friends with benefits, or in a serious relationship. I think it's important to know like this is what I'm capable of in this moment, you know. And I think it's
Yeah.
important to just stand by that and be present in that feeling if you're going to date. I think it's just the responsible thing to do. Do you?
I am truly irresponsible if self evaluation is the responsible thing to do. I feel like honestly I am so closed off when it
Mm-hmm.
comes down to my emotions. I have built up this wall, this guard, this whole cage that is like bob wired and then electric taped or whatever. It's just listen, it is Fort Knox on
Electric fence.
steroids to right, listen, it's hard to breach these walls. And I think that in doing that, like I don't really like say, okay, what exactly is it that I am bringing and or lacking in the relationship? Like I can't, I don't really truly address what quote unquote flaws, I
Mm-hmm.
may have. I mean, obviously I'm flawless, but
Obviously.
realistically, I'm sure that I have a few flaws to include not being open,
Yeah,
not
that's
always,
that's
not
number one on
always
the
being.
list.
Yeah, number one, number one flaw. I'm closed. Okay, but I think that it does lend to some hesitations and or the lack of like follow through.
Mhm.
um I always say, oh, I just lose interest so quick, but I don't know if I'm really just losing interest or I'm not doing the work.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know of your flaws? Like, do you have any dating flaws?
absolutely. Like
Yeah.
I'm detached emotionally. A lot of
Mm,
situations and things don't cause an emotional reaction for me, and so I
yeah.
know that's something that's hard for a lot of people because like people ask me like, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." Like I don't know what you're talking about. Like I don't have an
Yeah.
emotion in this instance. And then I think too, I'm really blunt in instances where like I should probably have more regard for the things that I say, and it's not purposeful, but it's just like it just happens. So like if you ask me, does this look good on me? I'm be like, no, it doesn't.
And will. I've
Yeah,
seen it happen.
I think it's just one of those spaces
Yeah.
where like I expect that level of honesty. Like I don't want to hear like it could be no. Just is it yes? You ask me a yes or no question, so I'm gonna give you a yes or no answer. Like, and I think it's one of the
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
for me. You never have to wonder. I tell people all the time, you never have to wonder. I'm gonna tell you all the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it's good that people don't have to wonder like how you're
Mhm.
feeling, but I think the delivery of how you're feeling could definitely use some,
Yeah, some thought, some
freshening.
care, like
Yeah, just a quick revamp.
yeah, absolutely,
Just
absolutely.
revamp your delivery, make it a little softer.
Mhm. But I think I know that I get that from my parents. I think that is something that Um, I it's just innate, you know. It just happens,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've been getting better. You know, I've been trying to like take a beat and pause and like,
Mhm.
okay, I gotta say it like this. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely is
I
hard
can
in some
agree.
points.
Yeah, I can agree to the fact that you have been putting in the work to get better. I feel like, even in our friendship, I had to have moments where it's like, listen, you're not gonna talk to me like that. Like, this is not how this works. Like, what are you talking about? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But you definitely have gotten better. So
yeah,
I will say that you have been putting in the work in
I
that
appreciate
regard.
it. I appreciate
Golf,
it.
golf clap to you on that.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
I think another thing that's really important is to really know what you're looking for, um,
Mm.
and uh, so a lot of people do this. Do you make lists or do
Uh,
you have a list?
yeah, I do. I have a list.
Mhm.
I've always had that. Oh, he got to be tall and dark. Dreadlocks. I just have like this whole at first it was a really superficial list. Like it was all about
Mhm.
like looks, the outer. But
Yeah.
as I've gotten older, it has definitely evolved into, are we building? Can we, create an empire, create generational wealth? Like, are we
Mhm.
leaving legacy behind?
Yeah.
Um, is there ambition and just, initiative? I'm looking
Mhm.
for, the boss.
Yeah. I hear
Yeah.
you. I hear you. I do not
Yeah.
have a list. Um,
You haven't listed all?
no, I used to. It's something that I used to have, but I think it closes. I think it closes you out to like other possibilities, you know. And I think there are
Yeah.
people who I have met who not who wouldn't have been on who wouldn't have made my list, you know, but who have
Yeah.
learned about and spent time with and developed a relationship
Mhm.
with. Um, so yeah, like I don't have a list. I don't have like a height or a particular look. Um, so I think
Yeah.
I'm open to the possibilities of just getting to know somebody and letting like who they are like really speak for them and like they're going to determine where they fall, you know, like if I'm interested in them and we're getting to know each other, like who you are as a person is going to shine through, and that's going to let me know if we're going to be casually dating or get serious, you know.
Okay. Look
Yeah.
at you being grown up about it. So I mean, I have opened up like my whole aesthetic of what I want people to look like,
Hmm.
but I have not
Wow,
wavered on
time out.
height.
You had a whole aesthetic, like
Yeah, whole aesthetic.
like you decorating the living room. I gotta, you know, my
Right.
whole
Listen,
aesthetic.
I mean, listen, I put myself up against people. I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. Like the look of the couple. Like oh, they look like a perfect couple. Like they look like they
Mhm.
go together type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But one thing that I won't actually waver on is height. I love me a tall man.
Mhm.
I just love to hug a tall man because it makes me feel like I'm being swept off my feet. I am short. So anytime I hug someone tall, it literally because I like to get on my tiptoes, like get in there, and it just makes me feel like I'm being swept off my feet. So I gotta have height. Like
Okay.
I definitely have to have height.
Do you have a number?
Um,
Do you have a height?
well, I mean, at this point, anybody is taller than me. I'm only 5'4", so. But I mean, look, if I get in the sixes and taller, listen, like it's something about a tall man. I don't know, like
Maybe.
yeah, it's just the feeling of being swept off my feet.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, sometimes I'm gonna climb, so hey, tall man.
Hey, be specific. That's the important part.
Right. But the other aspect of it though, I have relaxed my standards, I would say, or not
Hmm.
necessarily my standards, but like my list.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be super specific. Like it has to be this, and this.
Hmm.
You know, for a long time, listen, I love black men. all for black love. Like I love love in general,
Mm-hmm.
but black love is
Yeah.
my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been very adamant about like, oh, I'm only gonna date black guys.
Okay.
But a friend of mine recently said, all black women should date at least one white man in their lifetime. His reasoning behind it was because then we would realize that all men ain't shit, not just black men. So but I've kind of opened up, like maybe my person isn't a black man, so
Yeah.
I've thought about potentially exploring other races. I have not as of yet explored
Mm-hmm.
any other races, but I was like, maybe what if my person isn't black? I've been
Yeah.
so stuck on black men and black love. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
if that's not in the actual cards for me?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I was gonna say I would hope that God knows that something about some melanin that'll
Something
do it
about
to me.
familiar.
A highly melanated man. Listen, so hey,
Yeah.
but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I definitely think like I don't know. I don't. I date anybody and everybody. Like if we have
Mhm.
a connection, like I'm somebody who just goes with it, and like I'm gonna see. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
I don't really care. Uh, I think the only deal breaker I have is like smoking. You can't smoke
yeah,
because that
yeah,
is not for me, and plus so my grandmother passed away at a very young age, and she smoked for a very long time. So I couldn't imagine
mhm,
loving somebody else the way that I love my grandmother, or like close to
yeah,
that for like that long of a time, and then she leave this earth too soon. So I think that would
yeah,
be um, tragic. So smoking is, I think, the only
yeah,
deal breaker. Um, like off top, like in the beginning. I
yeah,
meet you and we're like, oh,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm not interested anymore. Immediately.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But I mean, I can work with everything else. I think acceptance is super important. I think
yeah.
I tell people to meet people where they are, not where you want them to be.
Mhm.
Because I think if you can just like we have all walked different paths and come from different walks of life, and
Yeah.
like somebody's situation doesn't necessarily define them. And so I think it's important to really like meet somebody who meet somebody where they are, and then
Mhm.
see if their actions match um, their direction. You know, and I think
Yeah.
that's important because a lot of people talk about wanting to be places but are going the wrong way, or aren't doing
Mhm.
the things to get there. And you'll see that, just give them time. They will
Yeah.
show up, they will show themselves, and you will see the person who is about that life, and they will be about that life in every way. And you won't ever have to
Yeah.
question it. So, yeah, I just think it's important to accept people for who they are when you meet them. And, like, because changing people is pointless. Like you cannot change
Mhm.
somebody. You can help influence. You can even help steer, but people are going to be who they're going to be. But yeah, I think just accepting people where they are and trying to build from there if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um I agree with accepting people where they are and
Mm-hmm.
making sure that they are who they say they are, and seeing, believing what you see
Yeah.
too is really important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I would like to believe that the person that I want is highly melanated, like you know. And there might be something I have to get over, but I am listen. Come on, melanin. Extra scoops of melanin, Lord.
Yeah. So, do you put yourself out there? Are you putting yourself out there currently, or is it something that I don't want to say afraid of, but is it something that you do regularly?
I'm not afraid. No. However,
Mm.
I also don't want to do the work. I know that sounds really crazy. Like, oh, you want to date, but you don't want to do the work for dating. Like, I don't want to have to go out and find him. I want him to find me. You know.
So
And the really crazy
are you at
part
least
is,
out trying to be found? Like,
listen, that's what I'm saying. The really crazy part is I'm always, always, always at work. I work so much, it's ridiculous.
mm,
But I've been on my job for 21 years. And
Mm-hmm.
for 21 years, I've had a rule that I will not date one of my customers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how many people did I miss out in dating? Was my person in that pool? Because, again, like, I mean, I meet people all the time, every
Yeah.
day. I mean, some really attractive men, some very, um, just great personalities, very charming. But like if they've been my customer or are my current customer, like I just like I leave them in the customer box. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
you don't come out the customer box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um so I can't say that I have honestly been putting myself out there full force.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have also been, blocking the person else for me because of this rule that I have
Mm-hmm.
that I don't date my customers. And part of that is because I early on in my job, I ended up with a stalker. I don't know how this man decided he's gonna attach himself to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a stalker for a little while. This guy would call the job all the
Wow.
time looking for me. If I didn't answer the phone, I got to the point where he would start hanging up. He would be
Wow.
outside waiting for me to show up to work, like all kind of crazy stuff. Like there were some male coworkers who were very protective, literally were like get ready to fight this man
Mm-hmm.
because like it was really crazy. So it was like he knew where I worked. So for me, like I don't want it to be a situation where it goes left or the situation doesn't work or you are really low key crazy and you know where to find me. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know where I work and you can follow me home or whatever. So I've
Yeah.
always made it a rule that I don't date my customers. And that guy could have been a one off. Like this is
Yeah.
one crazy, in the bunch. But he definitely ruined it for the rest of the apples. Like that bad apple definitely spoiled the bunch.
Yeah, for sure. And
you
I
know?
totally understand you having that rule given that situation.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yes,
something
I
that,
burned that whole grove. It's
yeah.
gone. Like,
if
yeah, nope.
you
This
come
my
in here,
customer. Nope.
you done. You done. Like,
Right.
don't
Like,
even come here
Yeah.
looking at shoes and be fine. Just
Right. I mean, I listen. There have been some fine ones shopping too. So I mean, hey. But outside of that, that's it. Like again, it's just the report inside the
Mhm.
business, and then once that's it. Like there's no exchanging of information.
Mhm.
Like once I've determined that you are a shopper, i.e., you walk through this door, yeah, it's crazy, and that could be one of my flaws, and one of the reasons why I also yeah am not fully quote unquote putting myself out there.
Well, not necessarily, but it definitely, there are not many shoe stores where you live. So if a man needs some
Mhm.
shoes, there's a good chance. It,
I mean, but there's enough. There's enough that he doesn't have to shop where I work.
I mean, kind
Yeah,
of,
there's
but
enough.
not really.
There's enough.
There-
There's enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what
And then like,
is,
go ahead.
is there anything that you do to put yourself out there? I know you work a lot, but is there anything else? Do you?
Um, well, I've tried dating sites.
Hmm.
Dating sites are not for me.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience I just don't have the patience for dating sites
Yeah.
because I'm very again, if I find like one little thing that I feel is a flaw, and I'm just like, oh nope, next, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I look for flaws to get myself out. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm really a person that likes to talk and have really good conversations. Like I like to converse. So the hey, I'm interested in you, or I like your picture, or like the real generic, the little generic ones that they give you to send to folk,
Yeah.
like that for me is like okay, next. You didn't put no thought and effort into it, like like okay,
Hmm.
so I just don't really I don't really do dating sites either. So if I'm out and about on some rare occasion, outside of work, and because we had COVID too,
Yeah.
so for a whole year I really couldn't be out there.
Hmm.
So yeah, I am not out on the scene actively, looking and allowing myself to be engaged. Because I am the engagee, not the engager, you know. Unless you really like catch my eye and you moving slow, and I'm like really like, oh my god, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't really put myself out there. Like I've been on dating apps,
Mm.
and I think that it's I get dating app fatigue. Like usually when I've
Mm-hmm.
been on dating apps, it's been like 2 weeks is my max. After that, like
Oh wow.
I'm done. If I don't
Yeah.
find nobody in 2 weeks, I'm gonna still be single. You know, I.
But
um,
so when you're on in those 2 weeks, are you doing a lot of like swiping and profile viewing and stuff like that in those 2 weeks?
um, yeah, I guess. I mean, as much as you do on Instagram, I guess like there are little spurts where like I'll have moments and I'm like, okay, I'll go here and swipe, 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 and then that's it. And maybe you make a connection and talk to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, it's either gonna go somewhere or it doesn't. And I'm super intentional and forward. Like I don't like to be
Okay.
texting all the time. Like I don't have time for that.
Okay.
I wanna get to a point like, all right, you attractive, I'm attractive. Like let's go get a drink. Let's go for a walk in the park. Like let's do something to see if there's chemistry or a spark or something we can build off of. Because I don't want to I'm not looking for a pen pal or somebody to text for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so,
So okay, so see, and that I think that is a thing too with like the difference between guys and the ladies,
mhm.
because like I need some time to kind of feel you out before I'm just really ready to like meet up with you,
Yeah,
um so sometimes it does take a couple weeks to text a little bit or have a couple of phone conversations versus just texting, like
yeah.
we could talk, because if you texted me, you obviously have my phone number, so
Well,
I
I'm
mean it
saying
could
like
be a
texting through
situation.
the app.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, see, again, listen, it's a lot of crazies online,
Yeah,
and
I don't disagree. I'm just saying, like, let's get the pleasantries out the way, and let let let's have some real conversations. We can text, and then we can definitely have a conversation, and then or two or three. But like, I don't know. I'm not texting and talking to you for 3 weeks and haven't seen you not nan time. Like, like I'm gonna get bored, and I'm
yeah,
just like, all right, I'm not interested anymore.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. I I think it's very. I think I think people know when they meet somebody or when they see somebody,
mhm,
if they want to meet that person. Like it's a
yeah,
very quick moment. I'm actually reading this
yeah,
book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, and he talks about how
mhm,
he talks about intuition, and I
mhm,
think there's a lot of times where we don't trust our intuition because we want to like take all the precautions, and sometimes taking all the precautions makes you miss the obvious red flag,
yeah.
or miss out on the obvious good opportunity. And like I'm a good opportunity, so we need to meet and stop playing games.
Listen, but okay, so in that, right?
Mm,
So there's a guy here locally in Fayetteville, and of course I'm not gonna say names or anything, but I think you know who this person is.
okay.
And we had like this instant spark. You even said you was like, wow, like I walked in, like what did I walk up on?
Mm,
Because like the conversation that he and I like our exchange was like really electric.
mm,
Um and listen, I made the first move. There was this cute little picture, and I was like, I got this picture. I showed it to him from our show,
mm.
and I was, he was like, oh, that's dope. Where can I find it? I was like, well, I could text it to you. So that was my way of giving him my phone number. So I texted to him, and then like I was all right. I made the first move. Like I gave you my number, and
Yeah.
then like for like 2 weeks, he never texted me.
Mm,
And then when I saw him, he was like, "You ain't never text me." I did initially, like I text you the picture.
yeah.
That was your open, like that was your. I opened the door.
Yeah.
But then in actually talking to him, like I found out that he has like a whole, practically wife, kids, that whole thing. So it was like, dang, like it was so electric, but he wasn't available. And
Mm,
again, I left that in my 20s, so I was like, yeah, well, it
yeah.
was nice. Thank you for your honesty, but
Mm.
no,
But I
you
mean,
know,
he gave you the answer when he didn't text you, right? Like even though there was electric and all this like chemistry, like the moment you text him and he didn't text you for 2 weeks, that lets you know what it is and what it ain't. I think
I
that's what
mean,
I
I
mean. Like
guess.
there are moments where, like, obviously you're gonna have chemistry with some people, and like they're not gonna be available or they ain't shit or something.
Yeah,
And they're gonna show you very quickly that they ain't shit or they're not available in those moments, like of
yeah.
texting or
But then,
especially
so then, if
communicating.
that's the case, but if that's the case, why was it the whole you didn't text me? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, if you're not available, why would I text you? Like,
Yeah, because
so
he
now
want
you're
to be
questioning.
chased.
Oh
Because
yeah, she don't do
he a
that.
narcissist. He a narcissist
Mm-mm.
and want attention. Like
Yeah,
he wanna pen pal you to death, and then hope that you when he gets some free time that
not
you'll be
pen
available.
pal me to death.
Yeah,
Pen pal me to death.
that's
Yeah, she don't chase.
listen. I'm telling you, like I know I used to know some dudes who would do that. Like would have a girlfriend or a wife or something, and then they would meet a girl, and then they would just pen pal her to death. Text and no conversation, and then when they got some free
Yeah,
time, they just hope and pray that she would be available to them.
yeah,
Yeah, and so I think in those instances, you just got to recognize what you want from the situation, and like
yeah.
transparency and clarity around communication is important because it's
Mm,
2021. Like most people, I ain't gonna say everybody, but most people got cell phones, access to
yeah,
FaceTime and texting and calling, and so if somebody's
yeah,
just texting and not calling, or like they're calling you at weird times, or like they're
yeah,
like let people weed themselves out. They will. I promise you.
yeah.
Like, just have your standards and let people weed themselves out, and don't
I mean,
chase after that.
right.
mm.
Clearly, I definitely keep the standard level up. Or maybe just keep the barricade closed. One of the two. That's what I'm saying at this point. Like,
Standards,
high standards.
barricade.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
They both work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've said it a few times that I have this whole Twitter campaign that I'm gonna be
Mm.
open for love. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stop playing with love. So I said I'm stop playing
Yeah.
with love and be open to love. So you know, as it happens, I don't know if I'm actually again actively doing the work for that.
Mm.
But I am going to allow when situations approach, I will give the full attention to see if it is worthy of me opening the barricade or not.
Yeah, I think that's all you can do, right? Like, I think you can
Yeah,
only open yourself enough to feel safe and be able to meet somebody and get to know that person in an authentic way and be yourself.
yeah,
Because I think a lot of times when people date, uh, they become the person that they think you want them to be, rather than the person that they
mm,
are. Um, like, oh, you want this kind of girl, you want this kind of girl, you want this kind of girl. I'm that kind of girl.
mhm,
And you're like, oh, I think I got somebody who's great and amazing. And then 4 months down the road, they forgot how to act in the way that they used to,
yeah,
or they got
yeah.
comfortable and they no longer have to put up the facade. And you're like, who are you? And where's the girl that I used to date? Like,
Wait a minute, right? Wait a minute. But I've said that to you throughout the years that
mm,
you have met females or young ladies. I don't know, people get upset with the whole calling females, but you met young ladies who are willing to do or say whatever to have just a piece of you.
mm,
They were putting up with you being blunt and rude AF because they was like, oh yeah, I'm strong, I can take it, but you were breaking them down, and they didn't even realize that they were allowing themselves to be broken in a way that not on purpose, but
I wasn't
like
breaking nobody.
you said what?
I said I wasn't
Listen,
breaking nobody.
listen. Some of the young ladies in your past were very fragile, and they portrayed themselves as stronger than they were. And they just listen. I can give examples, but I don't want to put people out there because they may be watching, and I don't want them to be like, "Oh my God, that was me." Oh my gosh, that was me. Wow, I really did do that. What in the world? Like, oh my gosh, yeah. But there were times where
And I think too,
I was just
like
like, what is this?
those were like some of my younger years too, and I think I was a little more reckless with people's emotions, like because I didn't. It's not that I didn't value emotions, like I just really didn't like have the uh, emotional depth or range. Like I just had this, like I'm here,
Yeah,
so you have to be here too, and this is where I exist. So if you would like for us to be together, you have to exist in this space. And I think the thing that like that wasn't a good space to be in, but it also was always communicated. It never was a surprise. It never was something that like um, I developed over time. It was like, look, this is what I have to give, and this is all
yeah,
that I have to give. And if you would like to
yeah,
be here, then it is your
yeah,
choice. And like I'm not forcing you. I just want you to know that.
yeah.
So
But
yeah,
again, as I said, like
mm,
they were allowing themselves to be somebody that they weren't
yeah.
just to have a piece of you.
Mm.
And it was really crazy. Like, what is really going on? Do you not see he's an asshole? What is wrong with you? Like, oh my gosh, what is really going on?
I don't want to laugh. I want to say this. I'm sorry for anybody that like I hurt in those years because again, I lacked emotional depth and range, and I just
Hmm.
existed in a space that was comfortable for me, And I always was like,
Yeah.
look, this is my pool. You can jump in if you want to, but I can't guarantee that it's going to get any deeper than this. Um,
Yeah.
and like I'm not gonna say it was right, but it was communicated very, very bluntly and
Yeah.
honestly up front. So, but again, I
Yeah.
apologize if I have hurt, or I apologize if I had hurt anybody, and I'm sorry. I was young then.
Okay, look at you. That's big. I will accept your apology on behalf of the young ladies that I saw you be an asshole to. Oh man.
I feel,
There's so many stories. Like so many stories running through my head right now. And I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna be out there.
I feel some type of way about being called an asshole repeatedly on my own show, but I'm just gonna
Uh,
like,
well, I mean,
I'm
since
gonna accept it.
technically half of the show is mine, so I'm just calling you an asshole on my half of the show. How about that? Like on my half of the show, you're an asshole, but on your half, you don't have to be.
Can we at least put it in past tense? Like I was an asshole then.
Right,
Okay,
right.
past tense.
We'll go past
All
this.
right,
Yeah,
I
we'll go past this.
appreciate
But still, on my half of the show, your past self was an asshole.
I will not disagree. I will
Okay.
not disagree.
I mean, cause like I'm always right, so
So
you
you
will
say.
not disagree.
So you say. So do you?
So what
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say? So what do you feel you will be doing, or what's your course of action for dating in 2021? Are you even open to dating in this moment?
I think that's my answer right there.
Okay.
Like I think
Okay.
in this moment, I got some goals I want to get to, and I got
Yeah.
some things that I want to accomplish, and I look forward to. Uh, I was thinking about this today when I was
Mhm.
thinking through this episode and everything. Like I have accomplished a lot, and I've accomplished
Yeah.
like you and I have accomplished a lot, and I look forward to the day that I meet somebody who I can accomplish much more with, because I just
Yeah.
feel like that there is a level of like I believe in the saying like behind every great man is a great woman, but I would change
Hmm.
it and I would say beside every good man is a great woman. And
Hmm.
so like, I think it's important for me one day to find a great woman, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause I think it would just make me that much better, honestly. But yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
that I'm completely open to dating in this moment. Uh, I'm open to meeting people because I need to get some
Mhm.
friends in this city. Like I got vaccinated. I need to get out of this
Right.
house sometimes.
Right. I can get out the house. I can go outside.
But
So
yeah,
listen,
I don't know that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the saying though, like beside every great man is a great woman,
Mm-hmm.
So what if the great person beside you isn't necessarily your spouse? Like your spouse can be great in their regard and
Yeah,
then in you in your regard, but their level of greatness and your level of greatness are concurrent but not consecutive. Like together,
yeah.
So like the things that make you great and your aspects of great,
Mm-hmm.
you can have a partner that helps you in that greatness, and then
Yeah,
like the aspect that your spouse has in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what if the saying is beside every great man is a great woman and their spouses?
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if necessarily like for me,
Mm-hmm.
you and I have accomplished some great things, right? There's a lot more that I want to do, with you as my partner, but also not with you with other people,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
with my person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if people like to put like they're like, oh, this person completes me and together we're great, but I feel like you can be great as a standalone, like two greats, standing alone, but then
Yeah.
together makes an even greater house. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
Yeah,
that makes
for
sense.
sure. Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
what I mean too. Like I know I'm great, you know? Like I definitely have had I've had some bumps in the road, but I'm great. Like I'm a good
Yeah.
human. Like I'm smart, I'm funny
Hmm.
sometimes. And I got a plan and goals and all those things and I execute like a boss, you know? Like
Yeah.
when I say I'm gonna do something, it gets done. And
Yeah.
I don't think that like I'm waiting for somebody to be great. I'm
Okay.
I'm hoping for someone who can like just help elevate me, you know, and
Okay.
well, not just help elevate me, but we help each other elevate, you know, together.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I don't know,
Okay.
I've seen there are great men out there, and I've seen just people really transform in really good relationships in positive ways.
Hmm.
And I think
Yeah.
that it's something that have always has always spoke to me and always something that I've seen is like, man, that I I can't imagine that support or that type of like partnership, I guess you can say, that just
Hmm.
allows you to elevate in ways that maybe you didn't even fathom, you know? Um,
Hmm.
and you know how my dreams work. My dreams, like, they out of this world in
Yeah.
the clouds, like,
Colossal.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it gets done, you know? It gets done at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So I definitely am looking forward to the day that I meet that person who like comes and helps me elevate and I help them elevate and we elevate together, you know?
Yeah.
But in this moment,
Okay.
I'm I'm focused on this podcast, and I got this big whiteboard like in this direction right here with a
Mm.
bunch of things that need to be crossed off. And so, uh, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So are you trying to cross all those things off prior to, or are you open to relationship in the process of crossing things off of your whiteboard?
Mm, I don't know. I think I just it. I will say like I'm not necessarily putting myself out there, but I'm also not closed off if I meet somebody. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I'm not out there like yeah, I'm not out there like that. But if I meet
Hmm.
somebody in the process of doing those things, then I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be closed off to it or uh, unable to recognize in the moment because I'm so focused on my goals. You know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that
I
was a
mean that's
much
real.
longer answer to that question than I expected, but
Yeah. I mean
yeah,
it's real though.
yeah,
It's
it's
real.
real. How about you? How do you
Okay.
think you'll be dating in 2021?
Um, Honestly, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to be open to the idea of someone. I'm honestly looking to date for like relationship,
Yeah.
not date to just be dating.
Yeah.
I'm looking for longevity. I think I'm at the point where I've been to Johnson long enough. You can change my name. you know, but I want the person. But I want the person that I could potentially be dating in 2021 to be about that life. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to buy the block. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to
Exactly.
create legacy, build generational wealth. Like I'm trying to actually like legit, get this bag and be able to be financially free, travel how I want to,
Mm-hmm.
and just spread love and positivity. I want to uplift my community. So if that's what you're trying to do, then come on, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm really intentional with what I am doing and what I want my name to be. The legacy that I'm creating,
Mm-hmm.
um, to be left behind. And if, like you said, we're trying to elevate this legacy, let's join forces, and we both be great in our own regard together.
Yeah.
To be even greater as as a force. Like I don't want to just look good on paper. I actually want to be good in real life.
Yeah.
Like oh they look good together on paper. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want that. I want us to transcend off the paper into real life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's look good together. Get these stocks, get this real estate, get these businesses.
Yeah.
Uplift the community, and let's get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy the block.
I
Like
definitely
yeah,
hear you. I
no doubt.
definitely hear you. I think um, intentionality is super important. You know, like
Mhm.
I'm gonna be intentional with everything. I have it written on my whiteboard. Like, be intentional.
Mhm.
And so, and I don't know.
Yep.
I think you can be intentional and date casually, and I think you can be intentional and have friends with benefits, and I think you can be intentional and pursue a serious relationship. I think your intentions
Yeah.
about the situation and about and with the person have to be those things. You know,
Mhm.
I think those things have to
Right.
be communicated and discussed, and make sure everybody's on board for whatever you decide to do in that with that person. Um, and I think for me, like my intentionality is gonna be to like focus on my goals. And if in the process of doing that I meet somebody, then I'm gonna be open to that.
Yeah.
And see what happens, see where it goes.
But yeah, I agree. Intentions are good.
Mm-hmm.
Once you set them, then you can live in that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to casually date or have friends with benefits or whatever you feel you want to do within that intention, as long as it's within what it is that you're trying to do. So
Yeah.
be who you want to be, and move how you want to move, and just make sure that it works for you and the person involved.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So with all this said and all this conversation, how are you feeling? Do you feel more prepared about dating?
I don't think I'm ever prepared when it comes out of dating. Honestly, like I kind of like I'm just like I'm gonna roll with the punches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as it happens, so be it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I will agree.
I'm not gonna say yeah, I'm not gonna say prepared, but I am gonna say that I am open.
Yes. Which
Yeah,
which is important because like at the beginning you were
yeah,
closed, you were shut down.
barricade.
Yep. Locked down, Fort Knox.
Right.
So
Listen, the fortress of Charisse.
yeah,
Look.
majestic fortress of Charisse.
The majestic fortress of Charisse. Look, don't forget. So,
See, I'm funny.
yeah,
See, you see that right there? That it just happened.
at times. At times.
I said sometimes.
You have your moments. Look, you have your
Yep,
moments.
I agree. I said sometimes. Yeah, I think I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm definitely open as well.
Open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I think that's a good place to end this episode. Definitely,
Yeah.
uh, it's it's a fun space. Like I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to date and to find the person and like to have the 2.5 kids and the white picket fence and all these societal pressures. Like dating should
Yeah.
be just an exploration of getting to know another human being and learning from the experience. And if that person happens to be, uh, or if you happen to connect with that person in a way that makes you happy and makes you feel good and makes you a better person, then just allow it to happen and find ways to make it work and make it beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that being said, come on, Jamie Foxx. Now, look, I've been talking about talking about you being my boo forever. Everybody knows when it comes down to Jamie Foxx, don't come for my man. Don't say nothing bad about him, and back up. You looking at him too hard. So, so Jamie, boo, I'm waiting.
She's waiting, literally, not figuratively. All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate you sticking with us this evening. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit that notification bell so you know when our next episode is in these streets. Reese, you got anything to say?
Don't forget, you can listen to season 1 of Discourse and Chill wherever you listen to your podcast. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, and Castbox. Make sure you tune in, hit that subscription button, and just, listen to us in your free time.
All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate you staying with us, and we will holla at y'all next time.